Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So we've got an update for the NB4 Plus today, and only a little update, so it's more bug fixes, but it fixes the issue with the INR4 GYB. We've also got improvements to the touchscreen, and it just says general bug fixes for improved operation. Now, I've raced with this and I've been using it for a good while and not noticed any issues, but the current version on mine is 1.0.3, the new update is 1.0.5. There's the FCC version, which will give you a slightly longer range but shorter battery life, or the standard version, which will give you a slightly shorter range but longer battery life. And as with the Pro, you've got the EN and the EU version, so I'll show you how to decide which version of transmitter you've got, and then we'll just take you through, show you how to back your memories up, and show you how to update and restore. So, let's bring in for a close-up look and see how we get on with this one. So, first thing you're going to want to do is download Flysky Assistant V3 on your computer. I've done plenty of guides on how to download this, where to get it from. But for anybody new to the channel, so you're going to want to go to a web browser, and we're going to want to go to flysky-cn.com. Once you're on here, you're going to want to go products. When we're on products, you're going to go surface, and then once we're on here, you want the NB4 Plus, you want downloads and upgrades. And then on here, we've got the standalone firmware updater. So this is for the EU FCC version, EN FCC, standard firmware EU, standard firmware EN. And if we scroll further down, you've got the Windows version of Assistant 3.04. So click on them, download which version you want. I'll not show the standalone updater, we'll try and do this all through Assistant V3. So, next thing, we've got our radio. So, on as radio, if we click the setting, system menu, scroll all the way down to the bottom, about NB4 Plus, and you can see your current firmware version. You can see which version of the NB4 Plus you've got. So this is the EN version. So if you are going to download the standalone, make sure you download the standalone for the EN version or the EU version, else it won't work. So if we back out of this, the next thing we're going to want to do is plug in our USB cable. Now these things are really cool. I'll see if I can show you. Because when you plug them in, it shows you the wattage. So I'm not sure if you can see that, but at the minute it's charging at 9 or 10 watt. And that's probably due to the fact that we've got the Legion Go running on its own internal power source. But once we get this detected, you'll see it pick up, you'll see it change to the device. Nice to see Flysky's actually added the little picture of it to Assistant V3. So we can click on Assistant V3. We see that we've got firmware version 103. So first we're going to want to go to Export, Export as Models. Be interesting to see if this is any faster with it being over USB-C. So if you want to back them all up, you can back them all up. Press Export. We'll get an option of where do you want to save this. So for me, I like to click Desktop. And then we're going to go New. So I'm going to make a new folder. So for this, I'm just going to delete everything that's in here. just NB4 Plus. And then we can just go open folder. Then you can change the name of the file if you want, but I'm just going to leave it as stock. So now we'll be going through the exporting of the model memories. And this is the first time I've run through this with the NB4 Plus. So it's the first time of me seeing how fast or if USB-C has made any difference to it. It certainly doesn't look like backing up the model memories are any quicker. And I really wish Flysky would fix Assistant V3. It's a nice piece of software, but the lag and how slow it is just ruins the experience. Because it's really convenient, the amount of stuff it can do, updating receivers, transmitters, backing all your model memories up. It's just a little painful to use sometimes. And the speed of this is not because this is running on a mobile PC. I've run it on my editing and gaming rig upstairs. So I've run it on the editing rig upstairs, and on that one I've got a 16 core 32 thread processor, 64 gig of RAM and an RTX 3090. And it is no quicker than using the little Lenovo Legion Go. So once we've got them backed up and we know as models are safe, we can go to update. We can go to update firmware. It's reminding you to make a backup if you haven't done so. We can click update. So this should now be downloading our software. And it's a bit of a strange message on this one. It always says if the servers are busy, it'll take a long time. And no matter what time of day you do it, it's always really painfully slow. So what I'll do, seems though that's been a good few seconds and it's still at 0%, I will pause the video here and I'll carry on when it eventually downloads. Well, that's been a good 10 minutes and it's still at 0%, so I don't know what Flysky's up to with this, but I'd say that's an epic fail. So we'll cancel download, at least we've got as memories backed up. So for this one now, we're going to need to close Assistant V3. So we're going to have to go to flysky-cn.com and then browse to as firmware. We've got the EN version. So once we're on this page, go to the version of firmware, either FCC for the higher power transmission or standard for the lower power transmission. Really is the only difference between them. And you just click on the link for the one you want and hopefully we can get this to download. So, looks like it's finally popped up. What we need to do now is, for me, I think the folder we've set up for our actual NB4 Plus, I'm going to go into that. I'm going to download the update to that folder on my desktop. So once it's finished downloading, we can just open the NB4 folder on the desktop. For this, I believe you'll have to go into the system menu on your transmitter. Then we'll have to go firmware update. It does warn you that you may lose your model memories, but we've already backed them up in Assistant first. Once you get the transmitter in the update mode, double click on the Flysky software. It'll open up, it'll show you that it's detecting a transmitter, it'll show you that it's version 103. So then it's just a case of clicking update. And to be fair, as a rule, I usually advise doing it this way. I just thought I'd give Assistant V3 a shot. And again, it never fails to disappoint. It failed miserably. You do get the update tenure. It's erasing the flash, so it's erasing the actual memory chip on the controller. At no point unplug this, and please, if you're doing it from a laptop or a mobile PC like this, make sure your power plan's not set to go into sleep, because if you stop touching it, if that shuts down, you're going to have a headache restoring your controller. You do have two emergency buttons under here. One side is reset, one side is DFU mode. So you can sort of plug it in, press and hold one of the buttons, then plug it in, get it in DFU mode, and then try and recover. It's a way of doing it. But you don't want anything powering off while you're doing this. It's just a whole load of headache that you don't want to deal with. Now we change to programming flash and it's on 48%. It is quicker to use the firmware updater than it ever is to use Assistant, just because the firmware updater is a very small program and it just runs, rather than the way Assistant seems to lag out constantly. I can definitely say moving to USB-C has done absolutely nothing for the speed of the backing up the memories or actually programming, doing the update. So although we've got USB-C, we've got none of the improvements of faster transfer rate or anything from a programming standpoint. So we are currently at 57%. The actual programming bit, I like to not cut this out of the video because there are parts where it'll freeze and I don't want somebody sort of watching my video, then I cut that bit out and then they think that theirs has frozen, unplug it and write the controller off and have to recover it. I know it doesn't make for a very interesting video, but I'd much rather show you in real time the update process. So if you see when I press start, you can have the video running on your own PC as you're doing your update, and you can see this is how long it takes. That, and I get to let you listen to my incessant ramblings while we're waiting for these little percentage numbers to go up. We're currently sat at 67%, and we are showing 9 or 10 watt on the USB-C cable, so it's not going to drain too much power out of the little Lenovo Legion Go. And from updating all these radios, I've never had a single issue with a failed update on the NB4, the Pro. I don't think I've had any issues with the ST8 or the PL18. I think the only radio I've ever had issues doing an update with was my original G7P, but that was on test firmware and that's what caused the actual problem. Did manage to recover it pretty easy, and I did a video on that as well. But I'm really not sure why people sort of are very wary about updating the Flysky controllers. I mean, you've only got to look through my list of videos and I show them all, and if it failed I would still show you, which I did with G7P, shown that the update failed and killed it. But then I'd also show you how to recover them. But up to now, I've never had the opportunity to have to try and recover a transmitter from a failed update. And I've used multiple different PCs. My big editing gaming rig, I've used this Lenovo little handheld. These things are cracking because there's no reason why you couldn't do this for somebody at the track. The installer is a standalone, so it doesn't need internet once you've downloaded it. The only thing you need internet for is restoring your model memories, because I don't believe Assistant will run. But as you see, the transmitter goes off. The transmitter comes back on. We have a definitely we have a different background, because that's not what I had set. So let's have a look. Themes. So we've got as themes, wallpaper. So we've now got a car. We got somebody wearing some headphones. And we got a mountain this time. They're different. But once we've done the update, this time the update doesn't overwrite your model memories. So we don't have to restore if we don't want to. But let's quickly show you how we do the restore. So we can close all that down. Now I say quickly, tongue in cheek, because using Assistant is never quickly. But it's now 7:45 at night, and I'll pause the video now and I'll put it back on when Assistant finally opens so we can continue this video. Right, so there we have it, a good 9 minutes later, and Assistant has finally graced us with its presence. So we're going to click on his device. We're going to go to import. We're going to go load file. And then wait for it to lag out completely. So we're then going to click as desktop. We're going to click into our MB4 folder. We're going to select the file that we exported. So we can click import. It's going to load as model memories. You can either select the ones you want. So for me, just to make it quicker, I'm just going to import the actual memories that I've got something on. You can rearrange these if you want at this point. So if you click on one to highlight it, you can then move it up or down to reorder it. So you can click on any and just move them up and down. Once you've got them right, you can just press OK. You'll hear the transmitter beep. Now hopefully we only copying these memories back. It should be a lot quicker. I love what Assistant V3 can do. I just wish it were a bit less slow. Just a bit more responsive would be nice. But you can see your actual firmware updated to 1.05, and we've got all his model memories and settings restored. So the update tells us we've got a more responsive touch. It does seem fine. It goes into alt settings, it comes out of alt settings. We've definitely got different wallpapers to the software version that I had. I believe it's different to what I had, but I did have early firmware on mine. And then one of the settings that should have changed is the update. So update receiver. So if you go to the INR4 GYB and click update and have your INR4 GYB in update mode, you should be able to update directly from the transmitter to update the MB4 if you're having calibration failed issues. But let's wrap this one up. So there we have it, the 105 update for the Flysky NB4 Plus, and update process seems fine apart from Assistant V3. I'm guessing they've either not added the update to it yet, or it's just that busy, the server were timing out. As a rule, I do prefer just using Assistant to back up the actual model memories, and using the standalone updater. It just seems quicker. But either way, you can see at least how you should have been able to do it through Assistant V3, and you can see how to back up and restore your model memories and use the standalone updater and decide which version of transmitter you have. Just remember it's either EU or EN. Don't download the wrong updater because it'll not detect your transmitter and it won't work. And it'll just confuse you thinking, is my cable broke? But yeah, if you download the right version for it, you've got the choice on both. So FCC, longer range, shorter battery life. Standard, slightly shorter range, longer battery life. But thanks again for watching WTF Rc Cars. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and catch you guys again in the next one.